Hi, Dr. Richard Bartlett here, there, and everywhere, doing a second uh, weekly message because I'm going to be in Italy when the next one will be coming out. So that's why the shirt is the same. Yes, I didn't change it. Um, so I've been watching a show called The Pretender, and many of you may not have seen it. Michael T. Weiss is the actor, and I think it's very relevant to the times. It's relevant to a lot of things. What I've been noticing more and more after I went through, well, quite a lot of heavy meditation or self um, immolation, looking into self, dissolving aspects of self, that the self is a character. And so in the Pretender series, this man, Jared, has been essentially kidnapped by the center when he was a little child, and he was a genius, had a very high level of genius, and he was taught to be able to, because he was a blank slate, he didn't know who he was never given a personality. He could become any personality and do anything, any skill. Now it's interesting because there was a Jonathan, the guy that wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, Richard Bach, had, I can't remember the name of the series, but it used to be in the newspaper. But anyway, he would be able to become anything. Like he was a blank slate, so anything could be written on that slate and he could just absorb it because he knew he had no self-identification. So if you give up the identity of self, it's such a weird thing because then you're drawn to do certain things without knowing what the draw or the drive is. And you don't have to examine it because when you examine things, you can examine yourself, self-dissection, that's very worthwhile. But if you examine things to check out and try and figure out what your motivations are, which is a useful way of self-analysis, if you do it in a way that takes your assumptions apart little by little, you become less and less. But as you become less and less, the universe fills that space that was previously occupied by an identity or a character with more of its self. Now, the universe itself is quite likely a matrix level construct. It's not what it appears to be because our senses lie. Like I've seen it before, but I saw this picture on Facebook where there was a group of indigenous people and the photograph appeared to be in color, but it wasn't. It was an old black and white photograph. And what they did is they drew lines of color across the photograph that were pretty hard to even see because the mind sees what it's programmed to see. So looking at it, you see a color picture, and you have to really let go of the idea that you're looking at a picture in color to begin to see what might really be there. Well, what if you let go of everything, you find there is nothing there, you are no one and never have been, and nothing exists. Now, in one sense, you're free to not have to play that character anymore. And then, like the Pretender in that series, you could be whatever appears in the moment, and your life could be continually blossoming in new directions because you never have an opinion of what you're supposed to be.